On today's episode, we'll talk about leaving the film industry to get your law degree, figuring out bullet time, Vom's I'm in Love with Your Mom, Scott Pilgrim versus the World, and of course, watching Frank Capra movies with Frank Capra.
Just a little bit of business before we start. There may be a curse word here or there in this episode, so please listen responsibly. As always, our website, theop.io, is up and chock full of tips, tricks, and gooey operator goodness. Make sure to check out the breakdown, where the best operators in the biz explain shots they have done, the musings, where we discuss everything from quick tips to larger concepts of storytelling, the answers, the images, and so much more. I may or I may not take a break or two during this episode, but I promise that none of them will be longer than 22 seconds. Finally, if you are enjoying the podcast, please follow us, write a review, share us with your parents, and talk us up around the water cooler with your friends. So grab a beverage, sit back, and enjoy the op. Thanks for listening.
Lock it up, nice and quiet, and let's roll.
Rolling! Victor 30 Echo, take 2.
Hey, Margaret. Hey, Mark.
And camera set. And action!
Hello and welcome back to the Op Podcast, the podcast where we talk about operating and the art of visual storytelling. I'm Dave Commodities, your host, and I'm coming to you from Chicago, where I'm presently doing some commercials with our guest, who I'm very excited to have, Mr. Bill Pope, a cinematographer, who has done a couple of things. I'm only going to mention a couple of them because there's a lot of them, but The Matrix, The Jungle Book, Scott Pilgrim versus the World, Peter Gabriel videos, Mercy Street, and Red Rain, just because I'm a huge Peter Gabriel fan. Many Spider-Mans, the pilot for Freaks and Geeks, which I think is totally cool. Bound, which was amazing. Army of Darkness, which was wild. There's a ton more. A bunch of awards and nominations, including for Matrix, Cosmos, Bound, and many, many other things. And just a really cool, interesting guy. So I'm really excited to have you here, Bill. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
I got through that okay.
Yeah, you did good. That was good.
So tell me, what's your story?
I see a career in radio for you.
Yeah, that my dad told me after he heard the first podcast that I have a face built for radio, which I don't think is his, but I'll take it.
I want to meet you, Dad.
So what's your story? How'd you get to where you are? Because you've done a couple of things.
How did I get to where I was? You mean you want me to start at the start?
You can start wherever you want.
I grew up in Kentucky, a little town in Kentucky, where there's not much to do other than get in trouble. There's downtown. There were 2 movie theaters, the State and the Capitol, and I was there every weekend. I was the babysitter. I lived not far from the center of town, walkable distance, and on Saturdays you could go watch cowboy. It's like they had a cowboy program. Like one cowboy movie after another, one Gene Autry followed by a Roy Rogers, by a whatever.
Nice.
Whatever was that? They were quarter.
So did you just go, like every Saturday you went regardless of the movie?
It was 25 cents. You got to sit there all day long.
That's awesome. Wait, you get to sit there all day long, meaning you get to stay for the next movie and the next movie and the next movie?
You're 25 cents, you're in.
What a bargain.
And then, I just kept going as a teenager, and, love of movies. It was the thing that you look forward to. It was the big screen, and there was drive-ins.
That's awesome.
You went to later. Movies are just part of your life.
Yeah.
But I never thought of them as a thing that could be made. They just came from, Mount Sinai. Some guy walked down
They like magically appeared.
They magically appeared.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool. And then I went to architecture school as an undergraduate, and I always did art all my life, but
did you do it like by default, or did you actually think maybe I'll be an architect?
well, I'd worked construction and so forth, and I was
Okay.
good with my hands, and I built stuff, and I was always that sort of thing. I was a good carpenter. I was a good mechanic. And I loved doing shit. I played music. I was in a rock and roll band when I was a kid, and so I had rhythm, and
Wait, what was the name of the band?
it had many names, and I refused to go on a record with him.
Okay. All right.
Everybody says that I should come up with a good,
Yeah, you should.
good answer to that. I wish there was a good answer.
We were the original Beatles, but it didn't stick. And then these other guys took it. Yeah.
We started when we were 13, and we played till we were 18, and we played, fraternities and
That's great.
High school proms and stuff. We were good. Anyway, as an architect, I couldn't stand being by myself. It was so miserable. I was just too young to do a discipline like
This was college.
College,
Yeah. Okay.
So then I took a film history class, and the professor said, and I wrote a paper. I was a bit mad about it. And he said, if you're really interested in it, you should go to NYU in the summer and take their sight and sound course. And I was like, really? I could do that? Yeah. So I did.
This is what year? Ballpark. I mean,
what year?
70s?
73.
73. Then they called it Sight and Sound back then, because I went to NYU, and they called it Sight and Sound then. So it's kind of cool that they still do that.
I think they still do.
Yeah.
I think Cheney's going to take Sight and Sound. Anyway, I fell in love with it. I fell in love with the grit of it and the discipline of it and the openness of it and the camaraderie of it.
That's
and
cool.
You had to do every job, and there was no blame, and you got together at the end of the week, and your critiques. I mean, critiques for an architect, you're going to have to check into a psychiatric hospital in order to get through one of those.
Oh, really?
One of those things.
Okay.
It's like soul bearing, and you are judged and shamed. And
Well, and when it's an architect, it's just you too, right? Like.
yeah, but there's a whole class standing around, and there are these pompous asses who are these professors.
But I'm saying when they're critiquing your thing, whereas the filmmaking, it's a group of you making it, right? Or
well, even you're not critiqued in Sight and Sound. You're not critiqued by the professor. You're critiqued by your fellows.
I remember that very well.
Yeah, that's different. That's a different
Oh,
feeling.
I see. That's true. Okay.
When your professors call you into question, I don't know. I don't know. There was joy. There was joy in filmmaking. There was no joy in being an architect.
Lucky for us.
Yeah, lucky for me. The other thing that happened to me was I joined the cinema club as an undergraduate, and it was Frank Capra had been forgotten. The last picture he'd made was Pocket Full of Miracles or something in '61, and he decided he was forgotten. So he wrote a book called The Name Above the Title at about 73. So that by God, I'm going to be remembered. And he started going to colleges around the country and showing his movies.
How cool.
And he called it, can I come show my movies to you? Come on, baby. And he came with his nitrate prints, his own nitrate prints.
Wow.
And we had a little Frank Capra festival, and Frank came and talked to us. And
That's amazing.
And almost like, oh, you mean actual human beings make these things?
Yeah,
that was before I went to Sight and Sound. I was like, fuck, this is awesome. He was a nasty little man. He was egotistical as hell, but pugnacious Italian American. He was really. I really loved him and hated him at the same time. And I was like, wow, it's a really complicated thing. And you could see how much energy it took to be that person.
Yeah.
And to get through. Can you imagine getting through the 30s and all that stuff and becoming a director. He grew up right next to Columbia Studios.
Huh.
Went next door and became a prop man and worked his way up to being a director.
I didn't know that. I know he also made like, didn't he make maybe not propaganda films in World War II or something?
World War II,
like that?
He was one of the 5 came back.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, that's why I know that. That's right, that documentary. Yeah.
I long had a deep dive on Frank just because I knew him then. Put all those things together, I went to graduate school at NYU and did okay and got out and struggled. And
was this like the era where Scorsese was teaching there and whatnot?
He was officially listed as my teaching assistant. He never came. Haig, the guy who ran NYU then undergraduate was Haig Manoogian, and he was
I've heard his name.
A wonderful, wonderful man who. You often get asked, are there any teachers that made a difference in your life? Yes.
Yeah.
There's 2. My 9th grade English teacher and Haig Manoogian. Both of them changed my life. Just by being accepting and showing me the joy in it and Like he was such a New York character with a strong Brooklyn accent, and you do a shot like I really poured my heart into those little student movies. And it's Pope, right? Yeah, you're good with your hands, man. It's like you're so full of pride that
That's
this
so
man
cool.
would say something like that to you.
Something
It's
be
like,
positive about you.
yeah.
That's
and then,
great.
you're right, I am good.
That's fantastic. Wow.
And I called him back later. Said, "Would you write
What a recommendation.
recommendation?" Thank you. That's the word
Yeah.
in English. And he did. He got me into graduate school.
Wait, so you were at NYU for undergrad as well? Oh,
So I was an undergraduate with Sight and Sound.
okay, gotcha. And then you went to grad after that.
Yeah, I did
Okay.
3 years of graduate
All
school.
right. Very cool. You weren't there when Jonathan Kaplan was there, were you? I think he might have been just before you.
I think he was just before me.
Yeah.
Barry Sonnenfeld was in the class right next to me. We were good pals. Made a lot of movies together. Joel was an undergrad.
Joel.
Cohen was
Cohen?
an undergrad.
Yeah.
And Barry owned a 2C. Joel's like, I need somebody with a camera to do a promo for this thing. And Barry ended up shooting. Was Barry's break. He owned a 2C
For Blood Simple?
for Blood Simple.
That's amazing.
They made a little promo reel to raise the money.
I love that. That's a big deal to own a 2C back then. That wasn't easy, right?
Yeah. Well, Barry's dad was sold film lights.
Oh, okay. So he had some.
And he had ends with all this stuff, so he had all the gear.
That's
and
really
Barry
cool.
had done undergraduate.
Wow.
He was a still photographer at Hampshire College, I think. And he was obviously talented, and they recognized it. I mean, Joel and Ethan don't hire fools.
Clearly. And made an amazing movie there for a first time out. It was that's wild. So grad school's 4 years?
3.
3 years? And was this, because you told me separately, I'm going to bring it up, was this when you lived by CBGB's in New York?
Yeah. I lived on the corner of Houston and Lafayette, and right around the corner of CBGB's. That was the only bar. There was Finelli's in Soho. That was the only thing that was open in Soho. Literally the only thing. The Ken's Broome Street bar opened while I was there, and we were like, oh, another bar. But the other bar was up on Bleecker, and that was a CBGB's.
It's funny because, like, for anybody listening who's younger now, if you were to think of that part of New York, it wasn't like that then. I mean, that was like Mean Streets, New York, like back in the day in the 70s.
Yeah, Main Street was 2 blocks away. That's where they shot Main
As
Street.
I'm saying, but it's a little different than it is now. There's like, there's a Starbucks and there's...
Nobody lived in my building. Nobody lived on my block. When I say there was 2 bars, I mean that's it.
Yeah,
Everything else is shuttered.
And did you tell me the Ramones were like the house band there?
Ramones were the house band, of
That's
course.
fantastic. That's amazing. and at the time, did it seem like anything special, or was that just normal? Is it all in retrospect that's kind of amazing?
I mean, we were all just, bums. trying to hide our insecurities and push whatever talent we had.
Yeah.
It was because there were so few people in Manhattan then. It was kind of special,
Yeah.
It was very,
That's pretty cool. So few people in Manhattan, meaning because like back then, Manhattan wasn't a place where it was desirable to live.
It was broke. It was when Abe Beam was mayor, and when the headline in the Post, Abe Beam went to the feds for money to save New York from bankruptcy.
Oh, really?
And they told him to go to hell. And the Post headline was, New York, drop dead. It's a very famous New York Post headline. But it was everything in Manhattan was shuttered.
Yeah.
Or it was gangs and
Well, the movie The Warriors is also what I think of as like with the subways with all the spray painted and like it just wasn't safe.
Tom McKittrick was a good friend of mine. He's one
right?
of the Warriors. It's like they made it while I was there, and they were like, that's it.
That was life. That's wild.
That's exactly what it looked like, and that's what it was like. And there were the few artists there. They all knew each other. They all hung out together. It's like it was before the Mud Club. It's like
That's
It
wild.
was a desert.
That's like a slice of time. So when you finished NYU, did you go straight out to LA or?
I hung out for a year. Barry and I made a movie, a Superman movie, an adult Superman movie. Barry wrote it and directed it, and I shot it for him. And then I knocked around and did a few other things, but one night I went to see Shampoo, and I'm watching the palm trees and the warmth and girls and motorcycles, and I'm like, I live in a rat infested place where I have to worry about being mugged every day I walked home. And I bought a car for $700 and I drove to California.
There you go. That's the way it happens. That's fantastic. And so, but clearly, you didn't know people in California other than maybe a couple people from NYU, or
My an old roommate of mine lived in California.
Okay.
And he and his girlfriend had moved to California, so I did know one person,
yeah,
two people there.
yeah. So how'd you get into the business then? Once you got out there?
I called up everybody I knew. Everybody. Somehow I got a list of people who had gone to NYU, and I called them all up. And one of the guys said, his name I can't even remember now. He got me a job as a PA on a Crown International movie. I made $25 a day. Every day I got paid another $25.
Which was like a lot of money back then, actually.
No, it was
No,
not.
it wasn't?
It was
Oh,
not a lot of money.
oh, okay.
I was dying. And we would. I remember volunteering. I'll gas the trucks up. I'll volunteer to do that. You got to stay later. Yeah, I don't care. I'll gas up all the trucks, because I had gone beforehand to the gas station guy who would work on my car. If I bring you these trucks, and you, so we falsified receipts and we split it.
You get a little cut.
Yeah, we'd make an extra $10 a day, and that was the difference between paying my rent and not paying my rent.
That's great. I love it. That's fantastic. And did they ever find out?
No,
No.
that's the only way you can make a living. I mean, you couldn't live on that.
That's great. So how long did you PA for? I mean,
I did PA through that, and then I got a job being a camera loader, where they even called loaders then, for Corman. Did some Corman stuff.
was this Corman down at Venice Beach and that?
Yeah, but they were always on the road.
Oh, is that right? Did you ever work down in that studio there?
Only in prepping the gear
Okay.
and getting out.
I did a couple movies there, and that place, if there was ever a fire, that would have been it. I don't know how that place existed, but there was a ton of people who came through there, right? I mean, Scorsese came through there.
Yeah, I mean, the guy making the props was Jim Cameron. The guy,
That's right.
The
Yeah,
girl running the office was
absolutely.
Kaylin Hurd. It's like
I remember I went there. They paid me like $200 to do Steadicam, and then you go, all right, if you're done with this now, go down the hall and you make a right and then a left, and there's a spaceship. And you go in there, you tell them you're the Steadicam guy, you could do that. And I remember thinking, like, now I'd go, oh, I'm here for this movie. But then I remember thinking, wait, I get to put 2 movies on my resume.
Yeah.
This is great.
Yeah, exactly.
It was crazy, though. Yeah.
I just didn't think about it. I mean, I think my apartment was $120 or something, $175 a rent or something like that. Your cost of living was low, but you got to pay gas and eat.
Well, and you were making movies, right?
You're making movies.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what. By then, it was in my blood.
Yeah.
I was,
Did you already want to do camera, or were you still sort of going, I don't know what I want to do?
In film school, everybody's a director.
Yeah.
There's only one category. But because I'd been painted and I could draw and I understood, contrast and so forth, it's like when I was at NYU, you had to every rotation you had to write and direct and be somebody else's camera person, be somebody else's sound person, be somebody else's dolly grip.
I remember
be
this.
somebody else's location person, producer. You had to do every damn job.
Which was cool.
It was great. It was really great training.
Except as I remember, you'd get into those rotations where you'd realize the people who weren't good at it were in that one thing, and you'd sort of have to step up. But like most things, actually.
That's exactly right. And we got to this thing where people would say, "How did you know to make it look like that?" You just do. It's like, how did you know to do that? How did you know when to pan? How did you know when to and then they'd be coming to me and say, "Would you shoot mine?" And then, by the time film school was done, I shot 50.
Really?
50 students film.
So by the time you got out to LA, you felt like that's where you were headed into camera?
I had underdeveloped myself as a director and overdeveloped myself as a camera person. And so my shingle was out. So I continued to do that. And honestly, I was lucky because all the people who wanted to be directors, that's a hard job to get. It's basically impossible. But you can work your way up through the crafts. I can start. I was a dolly grip. I was anything to pay the rent.
Yeah.
Gaffer, many times. Camera operator, many times. Camera assistant. I was a really bad camera assistant, but I was an excellent second assistant.
Oh, okay.
I didn't have enough focus to do focus.
Ah.
I was constantly going, what a lousy performance. Oh, shit.
So you were working on better things. You might have actually been a better assistant.
Maybe.
Again, lucky for us.
I was doing horror movies. I was doing movies where people get chased around with knives.
Most
and
of this was the Corman type stuff?
Corman type stuff.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of that stuff in those
Yeah.
days. It was just like one fly-by-night company after another
Yeah.
would come in, and you'd get a job with your pals. You'd get hooked up, and you'd end up doing one terrible thing. And then my friend who had moved there, I guess the answer is my friend. This is a long story. My friend who had moved there, I hadn't thought about this in years. He started doing music videos, but there was no MTV in those days. The music videos were just to be played in record stores and closed circuit television. You go in,
wow. I didn't...
and they were made for like $1,000. So we just started doing those. He'd direct them and I'd shoot them. And I think our first band was named Vom, short for Vomit. They were a punk band.
That's fantastic.
And we did I'm in Love with Your Mom, God Save the Whales, Electrocute Your Cock.
This all sounds fantastic.
I cannot remember all the songs.
I just want to point out that there's a lot of stuff on your IMDb, and this is not there. And I think you should definitely update it.
It'll never be on there. It'll never be known.
Would you just go out on a weekend and do like 5 of them kind of thing?
Yeah, we do 2 a day.
2 a day.
2 a day.
Yeah. And is it basically just like, skeletal crew and you just...
Yeah, it's me and him.
Light
Me and him.
And these are on film or they're on video?
Film. We do an ARES, a 16 millimeter handheld.
That's great. And nobody probably cared too much what they came out like, right?
No, you don't need sound because it's to playback, and
Exactly.
it's like you got a boombox and an ARES that it's like no.
And
cost.
was it with the band or were they?
Yeah, with the band.
Okay, so it was
They're
performance
doing the lip
stuff.
sync and
Yeah.
stuff. I can still
That's
remember Richard Meltzer standing in the bathtub of my friend's apartment with jumper cables attached to his underwear, with water up to his knees, singing into his microphone. No clothes on other than his tighty whities. And jumper cables attached to his testicles, and he's singing, "Electrocute your cock, electrocute your cock."
All right, I'm going to do an exhaustive internet research after this because this sounds fantastic. That's great. And by the way, the thing that I like is, clearly that's what it should have been. If those,
It's a good way to start,
right? Yeah.
5 years later, MTV starts in 1983, and they're
Yeah.
like, somebody must shoot these things. Who shoots these? Pope shot a bunch of
go-to
those.
guy, right? Yeah.
If you do 5 years, you do work, and it pays
You're the guy.
off 5 years later. When you're a kid and you're starving to death, you got to remember that. It's like, it's a fucking long time before it pays off.
And what I always found was the stuff that pays off was stuff that you were like, well, that's over and done. And then someone comes up and they're like, oh, I remember this person from that. And so MTV came calling, because you I think you were telling me the other day, you've done like 200 music videos or something like that. You said,
Yeah, easily.
I mean, some ridiculous thing.
I had sort of gotten depressed, and I fell in love and had a child, and I was so tired of pulling focus and being a bad first AC. I went to law school at night, became a lawyer,
Oh, I forgot this.
and was really trying to leave the business behind. But my wife got a job producing music videos. She'd produced the music videos for Spinal Tap.
No way.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And then she started hiring me as a cinematographer.
As a
And I was
cinematographer.
like, fuck. And then I got drugged back into this.
Wait, but back up, because I
Yes, no.
forgot that. But you didn't just go to law school. You actually got your law degree, right?
Yeah, I was a lawyer.
And didn't you tell me you're still a licensed lawyer?
Yeah, you're always a licensed lawyer.
Oh, that's right. We talked about this. That's amazing.
can't
So
quit.
did you ever actually practice, or you never got to that point?
No, I practiced.
Yeah?
I did trials.
Yeah.
I stood up, gave evidence.
You ever look back and wish you'd stayed the course?
If my wife sometimes, the other day, she said, if you'd stay a lawyer, where would you be? I'd say I'd be in politics, but that was really my goal, was
Oh, really?
to go into politics.
I could see that. You might be too honest, though.
No, the problem is I'm not too honest.
Oh.
That's the problem.
Okay.
Politicians are natural gaslighters.
Yep.
They
Before gasoline, anybody even knew what it was, probably, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Other than
Or there was a
bourbon.
name, anyway. Yeah.
They're like us in that they're presenting context and story, and they're presenting a way to understand the world. The good ones are. The bad ones are just in it for themselves and they're way more bad ones. The great ones are people who have vision and are presenting what the world can be. But for every Obama, there's a, anti-Obama.
We could find many other names to put in there. Yeah.
Fill in the blank.
Yeah.
I would have probably ended up doing that. Like I say, we are storytellers, just like the title of your podcast says. I wanted to be a healer. I wanted to be a person who contributed. But there's also, like our business, there's a lot of ego floating around in there.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of healing old wounds with self-validation in all politicians. Look at Bill Clinton.
You think you would have done well at it if you'd gone into politics?
Maybe.
I mean, there's so many aspects that you can't control, but
I think I've had to really look at this. I think in the end, I have a good heart. I don't mean ill to anybody. And I would like to see things work out. So I think with that in mind, I would have tried to been a good person.
I'd agree with that.
A servant, a public servant.
Yeah, yeah. Well, back to filmmaking. So you were in music videos in like the heyday, big money, like.
There's no big money.
Well, I mean, compared to what it is now, like now there's nothing.
Oh, they worked their way eventually. I mean, but '83 there was no money.
Yeah, no, when it started, but then
we got a $20,000 music video coming. No way, no way. The last two were $5.
I hear you. So were you like you were at the beginning of MTV then? Like you said,
Yeah.
you were part of that. That must have been kind of wild.
It was so much fun. It
Yeah?
was like graduate school. It
Is that
was
right?
like what have you always wanted to try? You know what? Let's try 6 frames a second. Let's try this blur. Let's try it on and off. Let's just take the lens on and off and put it back on. It's like whatever
Yeah.
you can do to make Because they're not really that great of actors.
No. So
Musicians,
if
some
you
of them are
could
terrible.
look at the birdie.
Just make them exciting.
But so basically, they were just interested in you doing cool shit.
Yeah, and they, musicians are artists. They love that stuff.
Yeah.
You give an idea and they go, "Wow, yeah, dude."
You have any favorite bands that you worked with?
Favorite band?
From a working with perspective, I should say, as opposed to.
There was a lot of them that were really good, but I had a sort of, I'd say I had a special relationship with Chris Isaak, honestly.
Yeah. Oh, you did a bunch of his music videos, I saw.
Yeah, but Chris is a filmmaker, and it's.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, and he's, in his heart, he's really good at image and everything. And collaborating with him was a lot of fun.
Because you directed a couple of his music videos as well.
I did.
Yeah.
I directed several 20 or 30 music videos.
Yeah. And when you say he's a filmmaker, meaning he's a filmmaker at heart, or he actually makes stuff on the side?
When you make a Chris Isaak music video, it's like he's got ideas.
He's right there next to
He's
you.
like, "This is my concept, Bill," and it's like,
Okay.
Wicked Game, which is one of the great
Of
Chris
course.
Isaak
Yeah.
music videos,
That's what I was thinking of.
which was written by my wife.
Wait, what was written by your wife?
The Wicked Game music video, the concept for the
The
Wicked.
concept. Oh, I thought you were saying the song.
No, not the song.
The concept. Gotcha.
We made another one before that one
Oh.
on Chris's concept, and it was very Blue Velvet. Chris hiding behind curtains and leering at girls and so forth. And you've never seen that music video.
No, it's got to be out there somewhere. No,
It's not out there.
What did the record company?
The record company looked at it and said, "Next," and then they made the music video that everybody sees now.
So Chris Isaak has this on his computer somewhere. That's about it.
Maybe.
Yeah. Wow.
They didn't even have computers.
But I don't understand. Did the record company not know what you were making, or did you just bait and switch them and do what you wanted?
It's Chris's money.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. Wow.
He gets to do what he wants to.
Interesting.
Like my wife made many Madonna music videos, and she tells really moving, great stories about Madonna.
As far as her involvement and
Yeah.
as an artist.
What's the Madonna video where she slept with a saint on the cross?
Oh, Like a Prayer.
Like a prayer.
I think Stephen Poster shot that.
Maybe. I think you're right.
Yeah.
It was Madonna's idea, and my wife produced it. Mary Lambert directed it, and they were called. Mary and Sharon were called to Warner Brothers Records. Come in. The budget here is terrible, and these three men who were the head of Warner's Records at the time sort of were raking them over the coals, including Madonna's agent. And Madonna walked in the room and said, "What are you guys doing?" So we're saving you money. This is my concept. These are my girls. Get out of here. Let the girls go to work.
Really?
And she dismissed the men. And my wife was like trying not to laugh, trying to just keep her mouth zipped up. And I was like, that's a great story.
That wasn't done back then by any means.
Yeah.
I mean,
these guys were not
there. But
she dismissed the president of the record company,
That's
the vice
incredible.
president of the record company, and her manager. Get out of here. Let the girls go to work.
That's fantastic. I love that. That's great. But before we go on from music videos, I have to ask you about working with Peter Gabriel, just because I've been a Peter Gabriel fanatic since I was
Peter's
young.
wonderful. He's also,
He's-
totally into filmmaking, totally
Absolutely.
into every trick.
I mean, he's a visionary.
I
on
think
so
we
many
made
levels.
bad music. That was Matt Mahurin, and
So you did Red Rain and
Yeah.
Mercy Street.
yeah. I kind of remember them as being really bad. Matt's a brilliant photographer, a brilliant filmmaker, but we missed the boat on that one.
Gotcha.
We
what
fucked
was he
it.
like to work with, though? Gabriel?
Peter was awesome, really
Consummate.
wonderful.
Yeah.
And I remember he's like, I was explaining to him lights and what lights make him look good, and he said, "Yeah." I said, it's like, literally, if you could just attach a light right here to all actors, so it went with them right in front of the.
Yeah.
I'm gesturing to right in front of their face, so it's front lit. And he said, "Really?" And then Have you ever seen his performance?
Oh, many times, yeah.
No, I mean,
You're talking about where we had the lights that were coming down and up, and he would sort of play
he
with
did
it?
a performance where he had power packs on the back of all of the performers, and they had a light mounted in front. So
Oh, I sort of do remember that, actually. Yeah.
It was like right after that.
That
It's
was
like,
right after.
I meant it as a joke, Peter.
Well, he found something in it, so I do remember that now. I don't know.
I mean,
what
he
the
meant it
record
as a
was.
joke
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
But
But
it was funny.
that's great.
He took it and ran with it.
That's amazing. And so, when did you? I mean, because obviously people think of you as a feature film director or DP. When did you sort of jump into features, or was it always back and forth?
No, I did a movie with a friend who was a director and got fired after 3 days.
You did, or he did?
I got fired
Oh,
after
okay.
3 days.
You can back up if you want.
I can't tell you why I'm
Okay.
fired without insulting a lot of people, but I actually wasn't ready. I was
I was going to ask you.
I didn't know my craft.
You
really.
think you deserve to be fired? I mean, not deserve, but like you understand why you were fired, or was it unjust?
I wasn't fired for what I was doing.
Okay. You were the fall guy for something?
The movie wasn't any good, and somebody had to be fired.
It happens.
So
And
there
actually,
you
it
go.
happens to DPs a lot, right? DPs.
As the producer who fired me said, the studio didn't like the movie, so you're fired. I go, well, what?
Did I
And they
read
said,
it?
well, they hired everybody else, but they didn't hire you. You're the highest person that they didn't hire, so you're fired. I was, well, thank you for saying that. Years later, I ran into that producer. I was going down an elevator in a hotel in Austin, Texas, and the elevator doors opened up, and he was standing there, and he's ready to get on. I said, don't get on this elevator. And he said, oh, hi, Bill, how are you? Everything okay? I said, you get on this elevator, you're not going to get off this elevator. And the elevator doors closed, and that's the last time I saw him.
I love that. That must have felt very good, actually.
No, I actually wish I'd let him on the elevator.
So let me ask you a question, because I think this is a good question for people who are starting out, because this happens to people. How did that affect you when you got fired? How did you deal with it?
I was
Was it devastating?
devastated. I mean, I still feel the pain now.
Really?
Yeah,
Was this
you don't ever
and
get
was
over
this
it.
sort of your first big feature? I
It was
mean,
the first time I was hired to do a feature, yeah.
oh, it was the first feature.
Yeah.
Wow. And you were 3 days in. And so I mean, what do you do? How do you bounce
You
back?
go back and do commercials.
You just go
You go
back.
back and do music videos. And I was starting to shoot commercials and direct commercials, and I figured that's where I was going to be. And then I got a phone call from Barry Sonnenfeld, who said, "Hey, Pop, I recommended you to shoot Sam Raimi's movie." Sam was calling me and said, who should I get? And I said, hire Pope. He knows what he's doing. So Sam called me up and said, I want you to come in for an interview. And I said, you know what? No. I'm going to come in. They're going to say, the producers are going to say, show us your first feature. And I don't have a first feature. So why bother doing this stuff? I'm busy. And I hung up the phone and then he called back, he called me 3 days in a row. Finally said, look, if you come in for an interview, I'll hire you.
Wow.
It doesn't, and I was like, all right. I'll go."
This was for Army of Darkness, I'm assuming?
This was for Darkman
Oh, Darkman, which was after Army of Darkness?
first. It was the
So, so Sam Raimi was like sort of an entity by then.
he was a low budget dude.
Oh,
But
okay.
At least
So he's still like the Evil Dead guy at that point.
yeah, he'd
pretty
done
much.
three
Gotcha.
Evil Deads.
Gotcha.
2 Evil Deads.
Yeah.
2 Evil Deads. The third one was Army of Darkness.
Army of Darkness, yeah.
So this was his first big budget movie. We were going to make this for $12 million. So I went in and he hired me, and we made that movie, and I survived.
Was that a good experience?
Sam is,
Well, you've done a ton with it,
yeah,
right?
Sam is an amazing
Yeah.
human being.
And
Really
he's the
lovely
type of person, from what I understand, that I mean, everything's plotted out ahead of time. You know what you're doing.
He was super planned.
Yeah. Is that because you've worked with so many people, and are the Wachowskis like that as well?
They were in the beginning, yeah.
Okay. And Edgar Wright is also like that, right?
Edgar Wright is like that times 10.
Yeah. So because you've worked with these three entities, but you've also worked with other people, You think is there a plus or a minus to that? Like, I can understand the good aspect of it is like there are no, well, there's still surprises, but
Well, all of them don't work like that. I mean, I don't think Sam works like that anymore. I think he's
is that
much
right?
more an actor, director, and
Oh, okay.
well, if you watch A Simple Plan, I think that was probably done differently than his action movies.
Yeah. Interesting.
Spider-Man
So
2 and 3 were pretty well planned, but last minute kind of stuff. But he's always there for the actors. He's always willing to redo scenes, and
Oh,
he's
okay.
always
That's
he
what I was
loves
wondering.
rehearsals. I mean, by the time he got to, I think, what was that Western he did?
Sam Raimi?
Yeah, with Sharon Stone
Oh, yeah.
and Gene Hackman. I think Gene Hackman shook him up. I mean, Sam would be like, Sam and I used to just walk out and do the marks ourselves and tell the actors to stand there.
Yeah.
Gene Hackman, you don't do that.
None of that. Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it shook him.
Yeah.
And after that, he learned how to deal with actors.
Well, that's a valuable lesson. Wait,
Yeah.
did you shoot A Simple Plan?
I did not.
You did. I think that it might be one of the perfect movies of all time.
Yes,
That
really,
movie.
really, really good.
And there's a moment in that movie where Billy Bob Thornton is sitting and you realize that they're formulating the plan
Uh-huh.
and there's no change, there's no physical change in him or whatever. It's just a shot of him. And you realize that he's just something. It's the most amazing piece of acting I've ever seen. And it's not even, I don't know what to call it. It's just,
Thornton is amazing.
he's incredible.
But I think he wrote it, right? He and the other actor wrote
Yeah.
it.
So at what point did you sort of become like a feature guy?
Well, after that, after Darkman, and a guy called me up, wanted to be my agent. And because that's what I really wanted to be.
Was this
I
your
was,
feature?
I was just sublimating. I was just like pressing down what I really wanted to be because I didn't think I would ever get it.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't want me? I don't want you either. Classic abused child.
I was just going to say, is that the truth or is that more just that's how you deal with it?
That's how I dealt with
Yeah.
it.
That's, I think most people do, well, hopefully.
Yeah.
Some
You
yes, some
convince yourself you don't really want it. And sometimes you can make a life that way. You can.
Yeah. So basically, then did you start getting called for features and like sort of become?
I got called. Yeah, I
Well,
mean,
I
I
guess
had an
when I-
agent who would drum up business for me. I think
Yeah.
the second thing I did was, something for Amnesty International, a movie about torture.
Oh my gosh!
And
Wait, a feature or
it was a feature.
Yeah.
I just wanted to do something good, and then I think I did Army of Darkness next. I'm pretty sure the third one was Army of Darkness, though that was put on the shelf for a while Dino and the studio fought about it. I think it was released a year or two later.
That was a great movie too, actually. It was
Thank
a lot
you.
of fun. So I want to jump to the Wachowskis because I have to ask you about that. You did Bound. Was Bound the first thing that you did with them?
Yeah, that was their first movie.
That's an unbelievable movie, and it's unbelievably underrated as far as I'm concerned. I don't think most people know about it. Anybody who's listening to this, you should go see Bound.
Well, it's on Criterion now, so
Is it?
yeah.
Okay.
People do recognize it. It was the single. I don't know that in fact, I'm quite positive. I will never see a reaction to any movie that I had to do that was greater than that one.
Reaction from
The audience.
The
We
audience?
took it to the Gay and Lesbian Film Festival in
okay.
Los Angeles, and they loved that movie. The recognition, the validation that movie gave an entire lesbian audience. It's like those people were treated like people.
I was going to say. Then there weren't movies like that. It was always you were an outlier or something. Yeah.
They won.
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
That's
what
really
is
cool.
the Kristen Stewart just did a movie recently? Yeah, I went to say. I mean, I love Kristen, and Katie O'Brien was the co-star, and I done. She was on Ant-Man, and she's an incredible performer with a kind of a shitty part in Ant-Man. but I knew she was starring with Kristen in this thing, and I was like, I can't wait to see this. And it was really a hoot. It was really a lot of fun.
But as far as the Wachowskis and Bound, they made that movie because it's a sort of an entryway to get to make The Matrix because they hadn't made anything.
Yeah, I guess in their minds they were Matrix was their goal. They had written some movies for Dino De Laurentiis, and
That's an
including
old school.
some Sylvester Stallone movies. And they somehow along the line they made a deal with Dino that he would raise them $1 million to do their own movie, so they could direct their own movie. It was
Is that cool? Kind of working with Dino De Laurentiis because that's like an old school Hollywood. That's like old Hollywood.
yeah, I did Army of Darkness with Dino.
Oh, I didn't realize that. That's really cool.
When they hired me to do Bound, I was not the first person they hired. They hired a famous A-level
Yeah.
DP.
Put the new directors with the massive DP with the credits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he came in and found out what the budget was, and he left. And he never did, like one day. Came in, what? And he left.
What was the budget on that movie?
It was $1 million. So they called up. We had the same agent. He was at the top of the list. I was at the bottom of the list.
Yep.
And who you got at the bottom of the list will work for next to nothing. And we'll do what we tell him. Pope's at the bottom of the list, and they sent me the script, and I loved it. It was like awesome. And I went in to meet them, and I could see on their desk upside down. I said, "That's Sin City, Frank Miller. That's a good guide for this. That's a good look for this this movie. We should probably do this in black and white."
Meaning the graphic novel.
The graphic novel.
It wasn't. Yeah.
And
So you clicked.
yeah,
They got it.
Our first meeting, I think. We went like 6 hours.
That's
We
amazing.
started acting out the movie. When you got 3 people, you can act out the movie.
Sure.
And we never stopped after that. We just
It's a beautiful
made
film,
it.
and there's the thing that I remember. I mean, I remember a ton about that film, but there's like a sex scene in it that's all one shot. Am I right?
Yes, there's
It's
a
like
sex scene that's all one shot.
It's like a dolly or maybe it's a crane or something like that, and it's so well done. It's incredible.
oh, good.
It's phenomenal. I remember watching that.
It's one of the
just
shots I'd like to redo
being blown away by that. One of the shots you'd like to redo
in my life. I look at it and I go, oh, God.
because let me guess, you see the things that you hated in it.
Yeah.
That's what we all do, right? And nobody else does.
I mean, I'm proud of it. It's like we were learning, and I was giving them the full benefit of all my knowledge. And they had so much passion, and they had so much understanding of the characters and the plot. Their grasp of what the audience knows at any particular time is unmatched. I've never seen anybody come close to it.
What do you mean what the audience knows?
The director knows what the audience is. They know each shot by shot what the audience is thinking, and they're guiding the audience.
Really?
A great movie lifts the audience out of their chair and carries them along, and it's usually an end of a process of editing, directing, and rescoring and recutting, and it's like finally you get it so that you're into the story and you're not thinking about anything other than the story. You're just carried along by the story. They know it from the beginning.
Really?
They know what the audience is thinking, and I'm like, wow.
That's amazing.
That's
and could you tell that right off the bat from when you started talking to them? And
Yeah, it's really phenomenal.
that's fascinating.
I mean, everybody else is guessing or showing off or whatever.
Or hoping.
Or hoping.
Yeah.
But I don't know, they got it.
That is that's amazing. Well, I mean, again, if you watch Bound, if you watch The Matrix, I mean, the Matrix is to me similar. It's like, I mean, you're in from the moment that thing starts, and it never lets you go.
Yeah.
And clearly that's, I mean, there could be 9 million reasons why that happens, but you're saying that that's by design from the moment they thought of it.
They lived it and they believed in it. And they're putting down their ideas of movies and what they'd like to see, and what if they're stealing, they're putting down the original's feelings. I don't know. There's just such a love and joy of movies in that thing, and love of politics and gender politics and fighting and philosophy, and it's they stuck it all in there. They just put their whole bodies and souls in those.
Do you
movies.
remember reading that script for the first time?
I remember reading it and having to go back and read it again.
That's what I wanted to know.
I mean, even before I read it, we talked about it.
Oh,
so
okay.
I knew
So
what,
it wasn't a.
it wasn't like
Yeah.
I was not. I know that when they passed it around Hollywood, they had to have a paragraph blurb that explained
Like
it
a breakdown. That's what I wondered.
at the beginning.
Yeah.
Lorenzo Bonaventura was running Warner's at the time, and Lorenzo is an unusual fellow. He doesn't come from a film background. He's had many adventures in his life, and he thought outside the box then, and he still does. Really like him. He spotted it, and he said, "This is our movie. Let's make this movie."
Yeah. You
And-
could see it.
yeah. 35. We'll give you $35 million to make this movie.
Which
If you get an A-list director.
was a lot back then.
No, it was shit.
Okay, that's I don't know.
It was kind of a lot. It was kind of middle,
Okay,
but not enough to make our movie.
but they needed to get an A-list actor attached.
Yeah, so they mounted it with. They asked, you know all the stories.
Yeah.
They went through many actors, but what it gave us is every actor who said yes, we started mounting it. You'd hire a production designer, you'd hire storyboard people, and you start thinking about it. And that went on for like 2 years.
Oh, really?
So we really had it down by the time
Yeah.
we got to doing it.
Yeah.
The storyboards were right on. We knew everything about this movie. And there was a great good luck of not having enough movie to actually do Zion, so that was thrown out of the script, which made the movie even better. If we
You're saying that was in an original draft and got taken out?
yeah.
Yeah.
And then we partnered with Village Roadshow, and we ended up in Australia, so our money doubled. Australian dollar was worth 50 cents. An American dollar bought $2 Australian. So now we had basically $60 million. And we were capable of making the movie.
So I can't not ask you about the bullet time shot, which I'm sure you've talked about ad nauseum.
It was just they wrote it in their script that this happens at bullet time, and I was like, "What's bullet time?" They said, "Well, it's everything's moving in slow motion, but the camera is moving around at normal speed. So in other words, you'd have to make a move at hypersonic speed in order to make up for the fact that the camera's moving in slow motion."
And did they just nonchalantly mention that to you as if you'll figure that out, or?
Yeah. This is your problem. All the camera stuff and the lighting stuff.
Yeah.
That's your problem, Bill.
But so do you think in their mind they saw what it eventually, like that's what you figured out what they were thinking of?
Yeah, they explained things, and I was like, so I
That's
sledded a camera
incredible.
and spun it on the centrifugal force thing, cheap thing, and it just shatters the film.
Yeah.
It shatters the camera. It doesn't.
Oh, you were trying to go so fast that I got you.
It's
The physics of it didn't
that doesn't
work.
work because when you're going to cut into it, when are you going to cut out of it?
Exactly.
It's like, but I was trying, and I was like, I finally went back and said, I don't know how to do this. And they sent it out to visual effects houses, and they all came back and said, we don't know how to do this.
Yeah.
But somebody that we didn't send it to, Mass Illusion in Massachusetts, which was
It's in the Berkshires, right? It's like this little.
it's like in a shopping center.
Yeah.
It's
No, I
like
have a
right
friend of
next to
mine
the
who-
sushi
I have a
place.
friend of mine who worked there, and
Yeah.
he lived in the Berkshires, lives in the Berkshires.
John Gaeta was a kid there, and he sent us a video of he set fire to a 50-gallon drum in the parking lot, and he put 4 cameras up, and he morphed between the 4 cameras. They said, maybe this is the idea.
Yeah.
And
How did they hear about it? I mean,
I don't know.
it just somebody.
It went around, it was scattered
That's
around through the visual
amazing.
effects universe, and this kid
So
saw
everybody was probably talking about this undoable shot.
undoable shot, and he figured it out. Other people were doing that sort of thing. Gundry was doing it too, but we didn't know that. And John came and put it on steroids. Instead of 4 cameras, we had 200 cameras, and he fired them off in 6 frames for each camera, and a computer drove the ignition of each camera. And then he would extrapolate frames in between.
Yeah.
The extrapolation of frames was something that people had not.
And this
Does
is
it seem
something
possible?
he came up with.
Yeah, he got a gold
amazing.
statue and he deserved it.
Do you remember the first time you saw it just being, I mean, because we now live with it, but I remember seeing it in the theater and just not even understanding how that could be. I mean, did that just blow you away the first time you saw it working?
I was relieved.
There's that.
But you don't see it until after the movie's over,
Yeah,
basically. I think I saw iterations of it against green. We shot all those shots in one morning on a Saturday.
Wow. Sure, because you set up the array and you're just like, now do
It's
this.
all the
one,
same
now do
move.
this one, now
There's
this.
only one array.
And then you just hold your
You just
breath and
repeat it.
hope that it works.
Yeah. Well, he'd know shortly. We could see a version of it, but we couldn't see the full smooth version of it
Yep.
till much later. So we knew it was going to work, and we also shot each one of those sequences at 300 frames a second on conventional cameras,
Yeah.
in case it didn't work.
Yeah.
So we had something in our pocket. That movie, the Wachowskis wanted to be able to shoot every sequence, every set at 300 frames a second.
Really?
So every single set was lit for 300 frames a second.
That's a massive undertaking.
We went through our lighting budget in 2 weeks. It was like the studio. One of the things the studio was.
And was most of
Not
that
like
used, or
before.
did most of that end up on the cutting room floor?
Yeah. I mean, we didn't use the 300 frame, but it was
That's
lit
what
for
I'm saying.
300 frames.
Yeah,
But a
yeah.
lot of, it's like Morpheus getting out of the building, jumping into the helicopter, all that stuff is at 300 frames. The dojo's 300 frames a
I guess,
second.
yeah, that's true.
All
Yeah,
the fighting, there's always like
the slipping of the that's right. Now that I'm
drop
thinking about it.
framing.
So to pull out one thing, because you told me something about this, but the scene where they go into the headquarters, I guess it is, where with the huge shootout and this and that and the other.
Yeah.
I mean, is that like weeks and weeks to shoot a sequence like that?
I think we shot it in a couple of days.
Seriously?
But it's weeks to prep it. Each one of those columns is made up of explosive panels filled with explosives. They all had to be kept in a refrigerated train car next to our thing to keep from blowing up, and it had to be
I mean, and just pulled out at the last minute.
pulled out at the last minute. It had to be lead lined so that somebody's walkie-talkies didn't set it off. So that's all prep. I don't know how long that fucking takes.
Yeah.
And they're brought out gingerly and put in place, and then we're wired.
Yeah.
Next take. So you got to mow through it fast because
That's incredible.
there's a lot of prep in that movie.
There must have, well, like there had to be. But I guess the thing that I'm sort of trying to get my head around is when you're the DP on something like that, do you ever feel like you're in control of what's going on in the situation? Or is it just sort of like there's so many pieces of it that you just sort of, you have tunnel vision of your own thing and just assume everybody else is doing their thing? Or it seems
have to-
overwhelming, I guess, is what I'm
You
saying.
have to assume that everybody's doing their job. I was you know what it's like. Control is the name of the game. It makes us crazy.
Yeah.
But it's what we want more and more and more and more. And at that point, I gotta say, I was probably at the height of it. I was in my mid-40s, and I was gonna swing that bat as hard as I could swing it. That ball was gonna go out of the stadium, or there was gonna be a whiff.
Yeah. Well, you did the former, obviously, because it's an amazing. I mean, it's an
But
amazing.
the point is, it's
beautiful
like
movie.
total control of everything. I mean, but also you have to trust. We had a second unit DP, Ross Emery, and he's great. He's really great. He's a first unit DP now, but of course. But when you say we're going to swing this helicopter into this model, and it's a quarter scale building, quarter scale helicopter, the rings of explosives, as each ring of glass explodes outward from that implosion.
I know exactly what you're talking
You're going to have to test all the which glass works best.
Oh my gosh.
So that's like weeks of tests
Yeah,
of
just
which
on
glass,
glass. Yeah.
and which explosive works. So that's building after building after building that are shot at the right what frame rate.
Yeah.
And all that has to be found. And what angles do we shoot it at now? And how do we get there? And how do we protect the cameras? Each one of those 25 cameras, they're all in shipping containers, glass sides.
Oh, it's
so
incredible.
the shipping containers had to be made. The glass had to be put in. They had to be air conditioned so that people didn't die in Australian heat.
Oh my gosh.
And the building had to be made on a site. Where does the sun strike that building? What time of day does that helicopter strike it?
That's why I'm asking.
That's a unit. That's a unit that's
Yeah.
working for 3 months.
Just to do that.
I ain't got time to do that.
No,
I'm shooting the movie.
Yeah, yeah,
But Ross does it,
yeah.
and he does it impeccably well. And it's workmanship is what you're looking at. You're looking at. You think it's just like a shot of a helicopter, and it's CG. It's not CG.
Yeah.
It's a helicopter smashing into a building. It's like there's almost no CG in it.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Oh,
in
I
that
just would
movie.
have assumed.
It's like there's the squiddy sequences, and you look at them now, and they're embarrassingly early CG, but they're okay. I mean, dramatically, they're okay.
It's an amazing movie. A totally different movie I want to ask you about is Baby Driver. Um, how did the music? I mean, it seems like the dialogue is syncopated to the music. I mean,
Oh, it is. It's totally.
What was it? One of these Scorsese's things where music's being played on the set while you're filming?
Yeah, yeah. It's being played, or click tracks are being played.
Click tracks.
Yeah, the actors have click tracks in their ears. They're wearing earbuds,
Really?
and they're walking to the click track, and they're speaking to
Oh,
the
fascinating.
click track. Your dialogue is ordered by the
Really?
music.
That's amazing. Okay, so now it makes sense why that all works so perfectly.
Yeah, it was meant to be a real musical from the.
It really is. And did any of the actors have issues with that? Because I think
They loved it.
they fell right into it.
Edgar's only going to hire actors who really
Sure.
love that kind of thing.
Sure.
Are you kidding me? A chance to be in a musical and nobody knows
And
you're
nobody
in a
knows
musical?
you're in a musical.
It's
Yeah.
like,
but I remember even
actors
like
love it.
there was something with the shooting of the guns, and I was like, how are
The guns are firing on
How are the guns
on beat.
firing on,
Yeah, on the beat? The
on
windshield
beat?
wipers are moving on the beat. The raindrops are striking the windows on the beat.
Oh my God!
There's a
you're
person above the windshield as we're driving down the road, putting the drops on the window
With the click track in there.
With the click track.
Seriously,
I'm
and now I
serious.
got to watch it
The
again,
windshield.
because I know
there's a guy in the trunk working the windshield wipers by
To the
hand
beat.
to the beat.
because the opening of that when he pulls up at the outside the bank, I guess,
Yeah.
or whatever, and he puts the earbuds in. I remember, I remember going to see it knowing nothing about it, and the first 5 minutes I was like, I have no idea what I'm watching, but this is just absolutely unbelievable. And the movie, it's a wild movie. It's an absolute wild ride.
That obsessiveness and control, though, that's what I'm saying. Is a theme that runs through my life, and I'm sure it runs through every filmmaker's life. It is. If you don't watch it, it'll eat you alive.
It can get out of control.
It'll make you the machine.
Well, that's why I asked you that question earlier, because like I've never worked on anything like that. But on the flip side, I've worked with Steve McQueen a couple times, and he just has this general idea of what he wants something to be like, and then Sean and I, when I'm on it with Sean, sort of figure out what it is. And it's not that it's not designed. He knows what he wants. He just it's not.
It's another kind of filmmaking.
It's completely different.
That's Dionysian filmmaking, you want to call it, but the Apollonian
Yeah.
kind of filmmaking will just.
There's no
really-
question about that.
I try not to do those movies anymore.
Just
I can't
because
do
they're
them.
they're too consuming.
They're too consuming. They're soul crushing.
Yeah.
And
Interesting.
for me, anyway. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm proud of them, but
Is it because you can't turn it off at a certain point?
it starts to
Yeah.
rule my life.
Wow.
You can't control your life. You have to let people live. And
Yeah.
I was a bad husband and a bad father. It's like, and I think a lot of it has to do with just that control filled up all the holes in my life. So you can't let that happen.
Well, but look, the plus of it is you obviously realized it, and you've rectified it to some sense and said, I'm not going to do this anymore.
I spend the rest of my life rectifying.
Are you at this? You've done massive things. Are you still nervous when you start a job?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So it never stops.
It never stops.
Are you nervous about different things than you would have used to, or is it the same stuff?
Well, you know it's going to work out.
Yeah.
but you don't know if you're going to be a fool or not.
Interesting. I think that's probably universal, is my guess. Because clearly someone could throw you in a situation to say, light this, and you can light it. I mean, that's not what you're nervous about, probably. I mean, you're just...
I actually enjoy that. I am nervous about it, but I also love it. I love painting myself in the corner and going, oh, all right, smarty pants, get yourself out of this one.
Get yourself out of this one. No, but actually, that is the fun part, because if it's all boring, then it's just like, what are you doing here? No.
Yeah, you know what it's like to find a shot, to figure out how to do it, to what tool is it, how to it's like we have problems, and we solve the problems, and that's what keeps us going.
Well, that's what I've tried to explain to people who aren't in the business, is that it's essentially problem solving, right?
Yeah.
It's just that sometimes you already know the answers, and then sometimes you go, well, that's absolutely, I have no idea how to do this. And those are the more interesting things, but they're also the scarier ones, because then you're like, maybe I finally found the great white whale.
Yeah, who's going to take me down?
It's going to take me down.
Sometimes you do.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't solve it. Sometimes I make red rain. It's like, sometimes it's like you don't do well. You make bad story, bad product. But a lot of times it's just because it started out that way.
Because this podcast is technically speaking about operators, let me ask you about operators. What do you look for when you're looking for an operator? Like, or what makes an operator good in your opinion?
What makes the operator good is what makes everybody good, and that is the ability to tell the story, the ability to be inside the story. And operators, and you've heard me say this to you before, operators are actors.
Yeah.
Just like dolly grips are actors. They're there dancing with the actors, moving around. They're physically in a space with them, and they're dancing with them. And I love your rapport with actors. I love your openness with actors. And that's why I look. It's like operators who are treat the actors like puppets or whatever. It's like, what? Why would you even come to work? What joy is that? What joy is that? Come on.
Yeah.
When you can speak to the actors and they trust you and you're working together and they want to present their face to you.
Yeah.
It's like they want to be in this motion picture. They want to do the cool things. They want to be part of a cool shot. They want to tell the story. They want to be moving when they're supposed to be moving. Emotionally moving. They want to be whatever. You both have the same goal, and so what I look for in an operator, I just assume technical expertise.
Yeah.
I don't even think about that anymore. But what I want when I want to work with is people who want to tell a story.
I love that, because that's what I tell people also is, I want an AC who's a storyteller, and a dolly grip who's a storyteller, and a boom operator who's a storyteller in a weird way, and all that stuff, because it makes the complete difference.
You're right. ACs do the same thing. It's like when they come to me and say, if you pull focus here, it means this. If you pull focus there, it means that. I want the first meaning.
Yeah. I was just doing something with someone, and it was a part of a montage. It was a shot of a dead body on the ground, and some feet walk up, and you know who it is because it's part of the montage, but there you obviously don't. And they were saying, go ahead and rack between them. And so I don't know the numbers, but the person was going from 3 feet to 5 feet and 3 feet to 5 feet. And I went over and I said, it's not about getting the one thing in focus and the other thing in focus. You want to be on the dead body, and the focus should show the realization of the feet, the person connected to the feet, recognizing what it is. And he went, oh. And then he did it again, and it was, it took...
You said it's the AC?
Yeah, I said it's the AC. He's a really good AC, but he hasn't had a tremendous amount of varied experience, let's put it that way. And you could see a light bulb go off in his head. It was really cool. And the next one, it took, I don't know, a second or 2 seconds to go between the two. And actually everything was mildly out of focus for a beat, but it was storytelling, right? And those are the best ACs that I like to work with. And I've said this before on here, but I'll say it again, is my favorite thing is when the dolly grip and the AC and I are all on the same team.
Yeah.
And not that you're not on this. That's not the right word. But you're all playing the same game, and you're
You
all
have the same instincts,
and you all
you're
trust each other.
Yeah.
But even if you don't all have the same instincts, it's that I'll be looking through the eyepiece, and I'll see that the focus is starting to shift because my AC has seen something that I haven't, and immediately the dolly grip and I'll know exactly where they're going because we're all in tune with it. And then I'll start to adjust a little, and the dolly maybe push in a little bit, and you get those magic moments that you can't plan.
Yeah.
Because it's life, right? And that's the cool stuff.
The actor didn't know he was going to do that.
Didn't know, or the actor had something going on. It's another thing I tell ACs all the time. I mean, not commercials, it's different, but I always tell them, don't ever cut the camera until the scene breaks, because sometimes they'll call cut and the actor will still be sitting there, and maybe they'll sigh, or and there's some real moment that's fantastic.
That's so good.
Yeah, but I totally agree with that. That's fantastic, and it's just, you have such a great way of putting that. That's why I wanted to ask you that. I also want to ask you about closet picks for a Criterion collection. So does Criterion just call you up and go, "Hey, we want you to come to our thing"? And
Oh
talk
no,
about
I was doing
movies?
Bound. I was there doing making Bound for them.
Oh, okay. You're there doing the what transferring it, or what, overseeing the transfer?
Yeah,
or
I was
something like
redoing a transfer. Did I do a commentary? I don't think I did a commentary. The directors did commentary, but
that? Yeah.
maybe I did. I can't remember.
Anyway, but you're there, and they go, "Hey, do you wanna come in the closet and just talk about movies for
Yeah.
a while?" Was that cool?
It was great. You don't do it the same day. They say go home and
Think about it.
think about it and come back. And I came back and I said, I think this is what I want to do with the time. And I gave them a list of all Asian, African, and female directors. And they looked at it and they said, we don't have any of these.
Oh, so you didn't go off of their list. You just went off of your personal.
No, I was like, okay, so what is it? They said,
Yeah,
well, we don't
yeah.
transfer everything to DVD. We have a lot more on our channel.
Oh, I see what you're
But
saying.
what's in that closet is just,
Okay, not everything goes.
it's much more mainstream.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
they're going to sell
They're
their
going to sell them.
DVDs.
Sure. Yeah, yeah.
So
That's pretty funny.
literally, I walked in that closet and I'm like, I don't know what I've got. But I had a sort of, my grandchildren called me up and told me what I should
I
pick.
saw that. What was it? Oh, I forget what it was. It was something with a big orange thing on the. I don't remember the name of the movie. I didn't recognize it, but some kids movie. But that's
No,
pretty...
it wasn't a kids movie. It's a
Oh, it isn't.
a South Korean
Oh, okay.
picture.
I didn't recognize, because from the so you said it was your grandson, and from the pictures it looked like it was
My granddaughter Tess.
granddaughter. That's cool. The two other things I want to ask you about that I forgot to are Freaks and Geeks.
Mm-hmm.
Did you just do the pilot?
I did the pilot, maybe the first three.
Such a great show.
It's a great show.
I mean, it's one of it, it's. And actually, this, in a weird way, as much as I would love to have seen more, I'm glad it was only one season, because it was just like,
Yeah.
I mean, every moment in that was just a joy to make.
Yeah, yeah. All this people always ask me what's your favorite stuff to make. It's always the stuff with the kids.
Yeah,
because they're so full of life and so happy to be there. I guess the theme of this podcast is joy. It's like it's infectious and it makes the day go great.
Yeah.
And it's just fun. It's like,
and also you're working with Paul Feig.
Paul Feig is awesome.
Did he direct the pilot?
He did not.
He
Paul
just-
wrote
he
them,
wrote
but he
it.
was there
Okay,
all the time.
he's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've worked with him several times. And then the other thing I want to ask you about is you just did How to Train Your Dragon, which isn't out yet, and The Jungle Book, and I'm assuming other ones that I'm not thinking of that are these complete, what would you call them, VR movies, or I don't know, or how would you?
Well, yeah, they're sort of hybrid. Actually, what I guess Jungle Book does inform How to Train Your Dragon.
But Jungle Book was sort of the first one along those lines where it was like,
Well, we were building on Zemeckis' work.
Yeah.
Uh,
Going back to Roger Rabbit almost.
I guess
Yeah.
certainly when he has at the old digital domain, he has motion capture stuff built.
Yep.
So we did an elaborate thing where we motion captured all the scenes and then virtual cameraed them after that. Once the characters are in the computer, I can put a camera anywhere. But I go in, I do it in real space with a stick that represents the camera.
Is that right?
Yeah. And then I end up doing it with a camera, with the stick attached to a head,
Yeah.
so that it feels like a camera and
Okay.
it moves through space like a camera
Wow.
moves.
And then it's all extrapolated in the computer somewhere after the fact.
No, they're right there. They're
right there.
The brain bar is right there, sitting next to me.
So, but would you do it, or a camera operator does it? Do you do it yourself?
I just did it myself.
And so, is that the shot, or are you then going and
That's the shot.
finessing? Oh, that's the shot.
We wanted it to look like it was conventionally shot.
Like it was conventional.
Conventionally shot in 1800 or whatever.
Okay. So it's not like what's his name? Avatar 3 and 4, where they're shooting the entire space, and after the fact they're going and creating the shots.
We built everything that the kid touches. We built.
Yeah.
We built jungles and rivers that he walks through, and
And is it all on stage essentially?
yeah, it's all on
It
stage.
is. Does that get tedious after a while? Because it's a different type of film.
You got a 9-year-old actor. How can it be tedious?
Well, there's that. Okay, there's that. Yeah, absolutely. But do you enjoy doing those versus something like Freaks and Geeks, or is it just two totally different?
Two totally
Yeah.
apples and oranges. I got tired. In fact, I didn't do any more of those. I got tired of being. I mean, basically, I spent most of my day. The kid works for 5 hours.
Oh, that's
Right?
it.
That's it.
Okay,
So the rest of the day I spent planning
figuring out the
tomorrow's day's work or reshooting the previous day's work or just working on. And I'm in a cage about 12 by 12 with a head with a stick on top of it. And I can talk to the people outside the cage who are. The cage is covered with motion capture stuff. They're motion capturing my camera.
The stick is like basically
The stick just
it's
is
like
a thing for the
receiver?
motion capture things to see.
Okay, gotcha.
It's got
Like trackers or something.
sensors on it.
Sensors.
It's got something for them to all these cameras.
And are you looking at a monitor that's seeing the world
Yeah.
they're creating?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got a little iPad right here
Yeah.
that sees whatever I
Wow.
ask them to show me. Show me the person I'm photographing, and make a dolly move from right here. I want to dolly to my left 10 feet at a medium pace. Show me that. Make it 10% faster. Okay, now let's do that. And let's do that shot. Okay.
So it's just it's a lot of trial and error, it sounds like.
Yeah.
And you were saying
that's tedious.
Yeah, well, that's why I asked. And you were saying reshooting is a lot of times where you do it, and then it all gets put together, and then you look at it and go, well, we got to be a little lower on the angle, and so you go and reshoot it slightly differently until it finally works.
I shot many of those things 20 times.
Wow. That's wild. I don't know that I could do that. I think I would lose my mind after a while.
That's what I'm saying. It's
Yeah.
like they said, let's do, what was the next one? Lion King. Let's do Lion King. I can't.
Been there,
I
done
don't want to
that.
go back in the cage.
Yeah, I want to go back in the cage.
I don't want to be waterboarded again.
That's hysterical. Other question that I had for you is, I mean, you look at all your movies. I mean, you look at like Scott Pilgrim versus the World, versus The Matrix versus Jungle Book. I mean, like it's all over the place, right? So what do you, in a good way? I mean, so what do you look for when you read a script? Like, is there something that?
Would I go see this movie?
Oh, interesting. Yeah,
If I wouldn't go see the movie,
it's out.
Yeah.
And
But I have pretty broad tastes.
yeah. Well, you told me you still see a movie every week, right?
Oh yeah,
That's amazing. In the theater, right?
in
If
the
you can.
theater, of course.
That's great.
That's what they were made for.
I know. I really like that, and actually, that sort of affected me because I thought about it, and I was like, I should be going to movies. Why don't I go to movies? Even from a point of view of I should be like going. Even if I can't, I feel like I should go buy a ticket at least so the money goes into the system.
Yeah, I
and
don't do it for that.
they
Yeah,
keep movie theaters there, but no, the experience of it. But and have you had many experiences where you read the script and you wanted to go see the movie and then it came out and you were like, this is not a movie I would want to see, or is it usually pretty much?
I've had the experience. We live in the real world, and we got to pay our bills.
Yeah,
And I've had the experience where there's nothing out there,
and you got to take it.
and I got to take something.
Yeah,
and you have your qualms about it, and those are generally the ones that are bad.
So your gut was right, but
Yeah.
yeah. But have you had experiences where either you've read the script? Well, you were saying I was going to say you read the script and it wasn't very good, but you theoretically wouldn't take that. But where you read it and it's great and it comes out and it's just a totally different movie than you thought. You don't have to name the movie, but I'm just wondering.
Yes, I've read the script, and the script was excellent. And then you go make the movie, and you know from the minute the director opens his or her mouth, that is not going to be a
It's
good
not
movie.
going to happen.
Yeah.
I got you.
And in the old days, I thought, DBs don't quit. They just have to go. Otherwise,
Yeah.
they get blackballed. He's a quitter.
Yeah.
You're hired to bring it home in whatever shape you can bring it home. And I believed that horse manure, and I don't believe that anymore.
Yeah.
I believe if you don't not connected to it, you should walk away at any time.
Well, in fairness, you're also at a point in your career where you've probably got enough in your hip pocket that someone is going to hire you again.
Maybe it's not fair of me, but I should have.
You've earned it.
No, I mean, not fair to say that
Oh, yeah,
everybody
yeah.
should do that, but
No.
as advice. But nonetheless, if I could live my life over again, there's many movies I would have just walked away from.
Yeah. So I call it Matrix mode. You call it Matrix
Mount.
mount.
It was a mount.
Yeah,
It was
but what, can you explain to people who don't know what that is? What that is?
it's a right angle piece of of iron. Is
Yeah.
basically what it is. It's we were trying to do. I can't remember the shot.
But this is on the Matrix, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Either Keanu falling out of the sky or Trinity falling out of the sky, or I can't remember. But I wanted to look straight up, and as the person fell, look straight down. And I said, "What head does this?" And everybody said, "But there is no head that does that." And I'm like, "What?" Because it's underslung, and if you look straight up, you look at yourself. Okay,
Yeah.
you oversling it, you look. If you look down, you
Yeah.
look at yourself. And I was like, "Well, why don't you stick it straight out?"
Yeah.
And you can look up and you look down. They're like, well, we can't do that. Well, is the head strong enough to do that? We don't know. Well, look, let's make a mount
Yeah.
that does that, because there's obviously a need. I mean, you often want to look straight up and straight down.
Everybody's in Matrix mode all the time now, or Matrix mount, I should say.
Yeah. And it's the heads were plenty strong enough.
Yeah.
It's like they were, we didn't know that our head was that strong. It's like, okay, well, here we go. So it became sort of the thing. It's also, I mean, we used to, in those days, in the early days of, I want to say, more mannered camera moves. You know,
Uh-huh.
they went from just
Normal or I don't know
normal
what the word
wide
is.
shot,
Yeah.
two
Yeah.
shot,
Yeah.
into more where the French call it camera stylo, where the camera is the pen of the director. It is literally writing its way through this
I've never
story.
heard of that before. Okay.
It is the voice of the director, and so it's very mannered, and it's showing you how he or she feels about things, and that became, I mean, Scorsese, you know,
Yeah. Right.
and that whole tradition, and he comes out of the 50s. It's always been there, but it became, now everybody does one-ers and everybody does this, that, and the other. It's all about, take a look at me. I'm here. There's a director here. But as we became more and more mannered in our photography, more and more toys needed to be made.
Well, just like the reason I like that story is because to me it's like so much of what we do where it's like, couldn't it just
Yeah.
and honestly you don't know if it could just, but it just seems like it should just, so why don't you go make it do that? Like, why wouldn't it do that?
One of the things I love about the film business is a bunch of people tinkering in their garage.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I mean, well, look, that was Garrett Brown, right? I mean,
Yeah.
literally that was Garrett Brown.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was telling me on Bound for Glory, he pulled this stuff out of the car in like cardboard boxes, and I can't even imagine the horror on everybody's faces back then. And this kid that nobody had ever seen pulled this thing out.
Is this going to be made out of cardboard?
Exactly. It's fantastic. I didn't ask you about Scott Pilgrim, and we were talking in the van the other day to work, and you were saying about all those crazy transitions and how Edgar just like prepared and prepared and prepared and prepared. Can you just talk about that a little bit? Because it's kind of amazing.
Edgar is the most prepared director I've ever worked with. and I don't mean this in any diss to the other directors. It's just he has this drive, and that's the way his brain works. He has to do it. There are many other directors I work with. They're super prepared, but he needs to satisfy himself to a greater level before we even get there. Mainly because he works by the edit. Everybody else has a way to cut it. That there are many possible ways to cut the accumulation of shots that you make, but Edgar's can only be cut one way.
Wow,
So-
that actually makes sense once you've seen his movies. Yeah, so it has to
shot
work.
by shot by shot by shot.
So if it doesn't work, you're screwed. There's no
One of them falls out, the chain's broken,
Yep.
and it all collapses to the ground.
That's amazing.
So
So does he do animatics or storyboards, or what does he do?
he does storyboards, he does animatics, he does
Everything.
You name it.
Okay.
Paintings,
And then you were
stick
telling
figures.
me that you guys went with video cameras and all the stunties and did those transitions in multiple places before he decided that they worked.
We would do all the hard shots first, and like in Scott Pilgrim, we would shoot the scenes. We shot many scenes just to see how they cut together. We also shot Scott Pilgrim largely in continuity.
Really?
Day one, we started with the first shot,
That's cool.
and we worked out. We did go out of continuity a couple of times, but
Story-wise, for the most part, yeah.
not just story-wise, but the way you shoot the scene.
Really?
You shoot the scene looking this direction,
Yeah.
and then you shoot the scene looking that
The
direction.
other direction, yeah.
And then you shoot the scene that direction. I mean, shots,
Yeah.
not scenes. It's like there's the close up of Michael.
Yep.
It's like, it's like click, 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 and then so I'm turning around all day long. I'm turning
But that's
around.
kudos to you because that's the last thing most DPs want to do.
Well, it has to, because the continuity is so
Yeah.
specific
Yeah.
that if you go out, the continuity will be. If you go out of order, the continuity can get off, and then the chain falls to the ground.
So in reality, when you've shot a scene, at the end of the day, you literally, other than which take you might use, you've kind of seen that scene cut,
Well, the editor's right there by your elbow cutting the scene. So,
and they're cutting the scenes as you're going.
yeah. So you know if the transition worked or
That's amazing.
the action beat worked or whatever.
I can totally see how that's. There's a plus to that. Is there a downside to that? I mean, do you give up like happy accidents and stuff like that when you're doing something that controlled?
No, the accidents happen. There's just the actors are free to have inspirational moments, and Edgar loves that sort of thing.
Okay, gotcha.
I mean, when you work with people, I mean, look at all the actors he works with. They're just clever as hell, and they're just like they're always coming up with stuff. But if you do it in continuity,
Yeah.
then it doesn't fuck things up.
Yeah.
If the actor if you're doing it out of continuity, and in your last shot the actor has an idea, then you go, oh, now what do I do? How do I get to that? I'm fucked. I shot all the rest of the shots.
Yeah.
You got to go back and shoot them again.
Yeah.
Edgar doesn't do that.
My thought of that is the comedies that I've shot that are largely ad lib. Is you're shooting one direction and then you
Multiple
come
cameras
around
to get
and
away with it.
well, but then you come around and someone does something that they like, and then we got to go back around and get.
Yeah.
It's just like you're basically constantly going in this circle and chasing something that isn't really there. That's incredible. I mean, so is when you've seen his movies, because you've done a bunch of movies with him, are the movies pretty much always what he came up with originally?
Yeah. They're not
So he's
pretty much.
there. They are.
They're not. They're absolutely.
That's incredible. So he's sort of a savant in that. I mean, because not a lot of people have that kind of ability.
That's what I'm saying.
Is he like that in the rest of his life? I mean, like, is everything in his place completely in order? Is that who he
I
is?
don't feel
Yeah.
competent to talk about.
Okay, gotcha. Oh, no, you're right. You're correct.
I
But
I can give you his therapist number. If you want.
I'll take it up with him. Actually, maybe you'll get me in touch with Edgar, and I'll get to talk to Edgar. Team America, which I actually forgot that you shot. What's that like?
I often forget I shot movies.
Really? Well, okay, good.
yeah,
I
I
feel
shot
better.
Team America was enormous amount of fun. Those two guys are fun. They know how to have a good time.
But from a camera point of view, is it a different? Do you develop a different language because you're working with puppets, or is it the same language that we have when we're working with people?
It's this kind of the same language, but it's 1/3 scale.
Yeah.
The puppets were 2 feet tall, and it was a learning curve. I didn't. Do I increase the amount of light to have the depth of field that feels the same? Do I? What does a 50 millimeter lens feel like? Does it feel like a close up, or does it feel weird?
So
Should it be shorter?
did you do tests ahead of time and just sort of like throw the ball out there and see what happened? Or
We kind of did tests, but we just didn't.
yeah,
I honestly can't remember. I'm sure we shot some tests, but we shot a scene in Paris where they land and save Paris by destroying Paris, basically, and we shot it, and I think they wanted us to finish it in a day, and it took 3 days, and they said, "Oh, we got to go back and raise some more money," because it was a $20 million budget and a 20-day schedule.
it was a 20-day schedule.
Yeah, and we
seems
took 3 of them to shoot one scene, and they said,
Oh, this was early on in the movie, you mean?
"Yeah, we just started shooting," and they went, Matt and Trey went, "We're gonna go talk to Paramount, and we'll be right back." So we shut down.
But I would imagine that scene alone, if you showed it to someone, they'd go, "Oh, we got to put money into this," because it's probably. I mean,
Well, they did the fuck you Paramount
Yeah.
thing. They started with super bad puppets. The opening shot is super bad, like 1/10 scale puppets, and then we pulled out to 1/3 scale puppets. So they said the studio's gonna shit their pants when they see this. They paid for this.
but I guess if you're getting into bed with them, they're like you sort of. I mean, did you just like? I mean, did you go home at the end of every day because with your gut hurting because you're laughing so hard? That's got to be the funniest set in the
They
world.
were funny all the time, and they have they each play different characters. They have microphones in front of them. They're ad-libbing the lines largely. They're kind of following a script, but they're
So they're doing it live.
They're doing it live, yeah. And the puppets, they have an instrument called a Gildefluken, which makes the puppets' mouths move exactly in sync with what they say into a microphone live.
You mean this is electronic? I mean, this is
Yeah.
digital on some level, so they can say anything, and the
The
puppets
puppet's mouth moves exactly as their
really.
mouth moves.
Wow, that's really cool.
And they when we first started, they were like, "Oh, this feels like Chucky. It feels evil." And let's throw it off. So they threw it off a little bit, so it didn't seem
It wasn't so
wasn't
dead
perfect.
on. Oh, that's funny. It's funny because now Matt and Trey Parker, you have this, and even then you have this instant understanding of who they are.
Yeah.
But I remember being on ER, and George Clooney came in and he was all excited and he had a VHS tape in his hand and he said, "You guys are not going to believe this. I got sent this VHS tape," and it was like 12 generations down. It was horrible. And he goes, it's this cartoon of Jesus and Santa Claus fighting. And we were like, "What?" He goes, "I'm not going to say anything, but you just got to see it." And we all ran into like, I don't know, the break room or whatever and put it in. And like, I mean,
Yeah.
we'd never seen anything like it.
I remember
and then
the
of course,
first time I saw it.
and then of course it was like, how do we make copies of this? And I probably have a copy sitting at home somewhere that like you can't even see color anymore because there's so many generations down. But that, like, we had no idea, right? That was just
Yeah.
crazy. And didn't they send that as like Christmas cards
Christmas cards.
to agents or something
Yeah,
like that?
that was their
the thing?
calling card. I was I was transferring a music video, and they were making the copies. That was the house that made the copies.
Seriously.
And they said, "You got to see this. I know we're making a music video, but take 2 minutes and watch
Oh,
this."
wow.
And we watched it, and we're like, "Oh my God, the Earth just stopped."
No, it was something. By the way, actually, I don't even think about it. For people who are listening to this who weren't around back then, what was it called? Was this called Santa?
It was Jesus versus Santa Claus.
Google this and watch it. It's their first thing, and it was like nothing I'd ever seen before in my life.
It changed everything. It changed comedy. It changed things you could say.
Yeah, and they were, what were they, 19 or something like that, out of Utah, and
They were
they
they were college kids.
yeah, it was
And they said,
fantastic.
I guess they had an agent or something, but somehow all these tapes,
Yeah.
VHS tapes, got sent to.
They went everywhere.
Yeah.
Understandably
Hundreds of
so. Yeah, because he immediately duped off. We were putting VHS recorders together and duping them and giving them to people. It was like the first viral video.
It was. It
really
viral.
was. I mean, literally viral.
Viral video when it had to be hand carried
Exactly.
from person
Yeah.
to person.
Yeah. Oh, it was amazing. The other thing I wanted to ask you about was just because we've been working together in the car and whatnot, and we went to go see that 70 millimeter print of The Searchers, which if anybody ever gets to see that, I highly recommend. You watch more movies than anyone I know.
Oh, really? No.
I don't know about that, but I mean, you watch a lot of movies. Can you tell me you see a movie a week, basically?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I go to the movie theater once a week.
Well, I should say that. That's right. Which actually made me think I should go to the movie theater once a week, because why aren't I supporting this thing that's going away? But does that? I mean, I think I know the answer. Does that end up informing? You when you're on set, are you constantly like, oh, this is. I remember this movie and I like this idea or whatever.
I don't. I got when I first started out. Yes, I would mimic things I'd seen or feel emboldened to try things because I'd seen bold answers, or feel free to explore any option because I've seen every option.
Yeah,
and it's. I mean, I am like Edgar probably sees 3 movies a day.
Oh wow!
Tarantino has his own projection room.
Yeah, that
he's
I
watching
know
them all the time. There's a reason why these people are so steeped in it, and it comes through the love, the joy of doing it. Their work is infused with the joy that they get from filmmaking.
Well, and also it's not a conceit, right? It's literally that's the vocabulary that's in your mind.
Yeah. They have it, and plus they have their own personal stamp on it. Very succinct and very distinct personal stamp.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that they've ingested all of cinema history. Look at Scorsese. Who's watched more movies than that?
Yeah.
But he has his own signature. His movies are unlike anybody else's.
No question. Yeah. But it's always amazing because when we sit and talk, it's like you'll pull up these things that it's quite incredible. You clearly have a love for it. I meant to ask you for The Matrix, just from a point of view of someone who's getting into this, or me, because I've never done a big effects movie like that. I've done big effects movie, but a lot of the movies you've done. When you go into this, how do you not get completely overwhelmed by, because you don't know how to do it all. Obviously, it's figuring it out. But how do you not let it overwhelm you, or do you just figure, well, there are enough departments that are each just gonna do their own thing?
Yeah, I don't know. I never felt overwhelmed by it. It's we prepped it for 2 years.
Sure. Well, that's true.
Yeah.
But when you first read it, it seems like there's got to be this part that you go, how are we going to do this? But do you just say that and go, I don't know.
Bullet time stumped me. But the rest of it, we were just kids. It's like we just go. You have such. I don't know. Maybe you don't have really belief. Maybe you're behind it all is imposter syndrome. But by God, I'm going to hit this ball as hard as I can fucking hit this ball.
Yeah, that's an honest answer.
I mean, I've said this before. Is like on the set one day when we're in the in the train station where Keanu goes where Trinity gets transported out of the phone booth and Keanu fights Agent Smith. We were sitting around going, I wonder how many people are going to see this movie, and let's start a pool. And nobody guessed over 10,000. We were like 1,000, 500. Like how many people were going to actually?
So basically, nobody believed in this, but you're still like, we're going to.
No, we believed in it totally.
No, but I mean, nobody believed it was going to be a huge hit or that it was going to have any kind of an audience or anything. I mean,
quick, let's make a kung fu science fiction movie and see what this. Because the kung fu people are going to hate it, the science fiction people are going to hate it.
Absolutely.
It's like, who's going to want to see this?
I love that. That's fantastic. That's sometimes the best ones. The final thing that I wanted to ask you about, which I'm going to pull out of left field, but I IMDb'd you and went all the way to the bottom, which is always my favorite place.
Oh my God!
And you were a camera operator on Three's Company, according to IMDb.
No, that's a misprint.
Oh, darn it! Because there was this part of me that would be so happy if Bill Pope was. Remember that horrible.
Three's Company. I was in grade school. I was the first grade school camera operator.
No, you couldn't have been in grade school during.
When was Three's Company?
Three's Company was like 1978, 1979.
Oh, was it really? Yeah. Oh, yeah. I could have been.
Well,
No, there was in the union, there was another cameraman named Bill Pope.
Oh, so it's probably confusion. Darn it! I was hoping I had something there. All right.
I wish
anyway.
I'd done.
I'm sure it was a great story nonetheless. Well, this has been amazing, and I really appreciate it. I'm going to leave you with the question that I leave everybody with, which is this is the question I leave everybody with.
Can't wait to hear this.
Advice that you would give someone starting out on how to succeed, and or advice that Bill Pope now could give to Bill Pope back then that you wish you knew.
It just comes down to joy. You gotta live in joy and be happy. If it's making you miserable, change things around. Try a different tact. Really look at it. Like, I was kind of miserable through my 20s. Like, oh, my friends are making it. I'm not making it. God damn it. I'm not worthy. And then, that just makes you miserable. It's not fun. But even in that, even during that period, I managed to have fun. I managed to go do dumbass music videos and just live with what I had. It became so miserable I quit and went to went to law school, but I did manage to have some joy, and that's what carried me through. Even when you're broke, even when your girlfriend leaves you, whatever, you just have a good time.
I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. We'll be back soon with another great episode. Don't forget to check us out on theop.io for all sorts of information on operating and storytelling. So thanks for listening and have a great day.